Are you a worrywart? Because you shouldn't be. My name is Meghan LeVota, and you're watching Realistic Inspiration. Today I want to talk to you about why worrying about someone won't help them. So when someone's going through a hard time and you want to be able to be there for them, worrying is a natural human response. But we don't normally think about how that affects the other person. A better response would be to support the person. Now, what's the difference between worrying about someone and supporting them? Well, if you worry about someone, if they're going through a hard time, that's actually going to put pressure on them. Now, if a loved one is upset and you go up to them with all these what ifs and possible negative scenarios, then chances are they're already trying to keep their head up, and that's actually not going to help them. Maybe they already thought about these worst case scenarios. Maybe they're already worried themselves. And when people are going through a hard time, they're going to desperately cling to any good news that they can find. So when you go to them and bring up these concern, and when you go over to them with this concerned face and you bring up these terrible possibilities, then that's only going to add more anxiety and more pressure on them with whatever they're dealing with. Whether that be an illness, or you're finding a job, or you're going through depression, or you're going through a bad breakup, any scenario. Like when you are like, oh, I'm so worried about you, then the person's just going to be like, oh great, I'm just a sack of shit, right? That's what you're pitying me as, right? So a better way to go about this would be to stay strong and to trust that person. And if you trust that person, then they will in turn trust themselves. Even if you don't trust them, you just have to pretend like you do. You just have to. If you have no clue what the outcome is, you have to, in your mind, act like the best outcome is going to happen, because then that allows for that person that's going through a hard time to look at how you've treated it and try and treat it like that too, and then in turn try and create the best opportunity. Let's take the example if you are applying for a job, and if you are worried about someone, they might be like, great, I'm a lost cause, I'm never going to find a job. But if you are supporting them and you are like, oh, I'm sure you'll get one eventually, then they're going to probably keep trying. That's just how it works. You are shaping their perception because you are an example of the external world to them that they're looking for. Another thing about worrying is that it comes from a place where you are just trying to make the person safe and you're trying to make them secure. Now, there's this really cheesy quote about how excellence happens outside of your comfort zone. Well, I'd like to talk about this dichotomy here of comfort and risk-taking. So when you're worrying about someone, you're basically trying to put them back down in their comfort zone. And a lot of the time, the reason why someone's going through a hard time in the first place is because they're afraid to get out of their comfort zone. Maybe they need to get out of their comfort zone, and maybe you don't need to try and make them secure, because it is true, as cheesy as it is, that greatness and excellence really can't come from getting outside of your comfort zone. So when you're outside of your comfort zone, there's this risk that's happening, and then there's this drive for success, and there's growth that occurs. And growth is not comfortable. So you can either seek comfort or seek growth. And I'm not going to say that growth is always the right option, because I know for me, I have a really hard time choosing comfort, and I have a really hard time letting myself relax when things aren't going well. And I kind of just choose growth all the time, when sometimes friends have to tell me that I need to just chill out and probably watch TV and I'll get over whatever I'm thinking about. But sometimes when you have this sort of support and you're like, I believe in you, then you're going to encourage that person to grow, because you're going to make them feel like they have more comfort than, and you're not going to make them feel like they need to go out and seek comfort. Even if the person is already secure, then when you are worrying about them, And when you are trying to push them towards this place of comfort and push them towards making a safe decision, then they're going to feel even more insecure than they were before when they're just trying to seek security. Here's the deal. Nobody knows what the future holds, no matter what. If someone's going through a hard time, you want to tell them things are going to get better. But sometimes things don't get better. Sometimes it gets worse. But the thing is that you have to have a good perception of what is happening so that if things get worse, it's coming from a place of growth and it's coming from a place of support. And if things get worse, you're at least becoming your best self and you're at least experiencing something and you aren't just sitting back and relaxing and choosing the easy way out. Now, I never encourage anyone to take the easy way out, but at the same time, I understand that sometimes you can't always choose the hard path non-stop because then you're going to get worn out. Sometimes you need to choose the easy path and then go back to the hard path or whatever. But normally, though, if someone's in a bad place, they don't need to be seeking comfort. They don't. They need to be moving out of that bad place. They need to be pushing through that bad place. And if you love the person, you need to support them. You need to tell them how great they are. You need to tell them their positive possibilities, their positive opportunities that await for them, because that is what they're desperately seeking.